We're recording now, so I will introduce everyone to Maddie Janssen.
Okay. Hi, good morning. Can you make me the host again, once again, Casey, please? Thank you. Okay, I am now the host, and I'm just going to get rid of this. Sorry about that. Close that out. Okay. All right, good morning to the girls who are joining us now and those watching later. Thank you so much for just giving up a little bit of your Saturday to listen to me talk for a few minutes. I have a fun activity I want to do, or at least get started doing, and then you girls can continue doing this after and work on it over the next few days because it's a really fun one, and I've had a lot of fun doing it, even though it wasn't something that I've ever done before. And maybe you guys have done this activity before, but I never had. So I think it's really fun. And even if you have done it before, I think it's something that you can do over and over again as maybe the vision for your goals and dreams changes. So I'm just gonna start by introducing myself. My name is Maddie Janssen, and I live in Tehachapi, which is just outside of Bakersfield, and I work in Bakersfield. I'm a news anchor and reporter at KGET TV 17, which is the local NBC station. So I just have a few pictures as I tell you a little bit about myself. So I'm going to share those. I'm going to minimize myself and pull up. I think I need to share my screen. Here we go. Share screen. Let's see. Well,
share screen should be like a green button at the bottom.
Okay, I see that. Files. Maybe I have to pull up files. Advanced. Sorry, girls. I have not done this in, well, ever. I've never shared my screen, so I guess I should have worked on that beforehand. Share. Let's see. Okay, so I think I can just open it up. Tell me if you're seeing
yes, we can see your screen.
You can see my computer now. Okay, cool. I just pulled up some pictures just because I thought it'd be more fun than just looking at my face as I was just telling you about myself. So my name is Maddie Janssen, as I said, and I am a mom and a wife, and I have 3 little boys. My husband's Justin. We've been married for 10 years now. I'm also a TV news reporter and an anchor for 17 News at Sunrise, as I mentioned, in Bakersfield, and I've been on that show for about 9 years now, and I've been in the industry for 13 years. So it's crazy to think it's been that long, actually. I anchor a newscast called 17 News at Sunrise, and we've won several Emmys for our newscast, which I'm really proud of. I work with an amazing team, and TV news is all about being part of a team. So while my face is, you know, one of the main ones on there, it's a huge effort to make our newscast possible. And I'm super honored to have that position, and really blessed to do it in a community that I grew up in, and for my family and my friends. So it's pretty cool. I grew up in Bakersfield. I went to BHS, and after that I went to Chapman University and graduated in 3 years. I have always been pretty ambitious. I have not always had great direction for that ambition. I went into college not really knowing what I wanted to do, except I knew I wanted to be in theater or acting or something. So I was a theater major because theater was my passion when I was in high school. My mom was maybe smart enough, I would say, to tell me I needed another major also. And so I picked very randomly broadcast journalism. I really did not know what that entailed, but it was just another option that Chapman had. And I picked it because I was like, oh, well, if I'm not going to be an actress, I'll be on TV. Not the mindset you want to go into journalism with, mind you, but that was how I ended up there. It was really random, and I actually hated it at first. It was super difficult, completely foreign to me, especially the idea of picking up a camera and shooting interviews and cold calling city officials and asking people for interviews or knocking on doors. It was incredibly intimidating to me, but I just picked up this mindset of fake it till you make it. And I would, instead of overthinking something, I would just count down. And then once I'd count down from 10. And once I reached 1, I would pick up the phone and I would just hit dial. Even if I didn't want to call that person, I was terrified of what I was going to say. I would just count down and then go instead of overthinking it. So I graduated in 3 years from Chapman. I have a BFA in television production and broadcast journalism. And then from there, I set off on my mission to find a job in news. I sent out what we call resume tapes across the country. And I landed it with a 2-year contract in Billings, Montana. There was lots of snow. It was a tiny town of 100,000 people, so much smaller than Bakersfield. And it was the biggest city in the state of Montana. So that's, gives you a little perspective of what this town was like. One of my very first live shots, as you can see here, was at the fair doing a mobile milking demonstration. So really hard-hitting journalism to start off here. But I got my feet wet and I learned what being in news was all about. I ended up covering some really fantastic stories. I went on to be on their morning newscast, which is where I fell in love with morning news. I love the idea of morning news, and I got a really good taste for that. So anyway, I moved across the country to Montana. I didn't know anybody there. I could barely afford the apartment that I lived in, making very, very little as an entry level news reporter. But getting there and getting uncomfortable was honestly one of the best decisions of my life, because I think getting uncomfortable really forces you to figure out who you are. It just boils down everything, all the excess, all the comfort, until you figure out what you're made of. And I think it's really useful to get uncomfortable at different points in your life in different ways. So this was my way of getting uncomfortable in a career, and also just in my lifestyle, not living near my family, not having people to rely on, where I very much value that now. But I think getting away from that comfort level really taught me a lot. So after 2 years, I finished my 2 years in Montana, and I said goodbye to, honestly, the most beautiful place I'd ever lived. I had never even considered visiting Montana. So you never know what kind of blessings are going to come your way when you take these leaps of faith. And that was really one of the biggest, was getting to go to this gorgeous place and meet some of my new best friends. But after 2 years, I knew that I needed to be near family again. So I moved back home to KGET, and I got a job as an investigative reporter at the news station in Bakersfield that I'd grown up watching, KGET, and I started there. I had only been back 3 months when I met my husband and we got married, and we've been married for 10 years now. So I'm gonna move this out of the way here. So yeah, we moved that back, we got married, and now I am still at that same station. It has been 11 years now, and I've been on the newscast that I'm on now for 9+ years, about 9.5 years, anchoring 17 News at Sunrise. And I have 3 little boys, and I often do find it hard to balance everything. I have a lot of commitments between family, between work, Sunrise, being a reporter, being an anchor, being an interviewer, being a community host for so many different events, and then the community service that I hold so dear. I am on the board for Girl Scouts of Central California South, and I'm also, of course, involved with Distinguished Young Women. I'm also a CASA, a court-appointed special advocate for foster children in Kern County, which is one of the biggest blessings in my life, is being involved with that program as well. I have definitely struggled over the years trying to figure out, how do you juggle it all? And one woman who is someone I really look up to once told me that she thinks women can have it all, but maybe not all at the same time. And I don't think that means that you have to pick or choose a time to focus on your career, your school, your family, or anything like that. It's just knowing that at some points in your life, certain things are going to take priority. And I heard this analogy from Nora Roberts, the author. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen here. Let's go back to this. And I loved it. It was an analogy that, sorry, how do I unshare my screen? Does anybody know that?
Yeah, so if you go to the top, the view options, it should say end screen share. All the way at the top of your screen.
Oh, I see. Thank you. Stop share. Thank you. Okay, so this analogy from Nora Roberts was just so brilliant. I only actually recently heard it, but it was that the key to juggling work life, family life, community service, friends, and self-care, all that stuff, is to know that some of the balls that you're juggling are made of plastic and some are made of glass. And that means that sometimes one of the maybe family balls, you're gonna have to drop one of the plastic balls for a glass work ball. It's choosing and knowing that that's okay. Sometimes you're going to drop plastic balls when you're doing a lot, when you are trying to do it all. But it's knowing the difference between the plastic balls and the glass balls. And there are glass family balls, and there are glass work balls and glass community service balls and those sorts of things, but there's also plastic ones. So maybe you can't always do everything and be involved with every single charity or every single event that you're asked to be part of. But knowing that it's okay to say no to those plastic ones frees you up to give your all to the glass ones. And that is how you're going to excel. Because when you say yes to everything, when you take on absolutely everything and feel like you can't ever let anything drop, you're gonna fall, and you're gonna drop everything at one point. Potentially, you set yourself up to drop a lot more than if you were to know that, hey, there are certain things that are okay to let slip through the cracks here, and then other things that I don't want to. I love that analogy, and I think that all of you ladies could really use that as you go forward, because I know how incredibly ambitious you are. So as I mentioned, I have always had a lot of ambition, but I haven't always had a great direction with that ambition. I fell into broadcast journalism. I got incredibly lucky. The ambition that I have just tells me that I want to do more. I want to say yes to those things that I'm asked to be part of. And I want to make a difference in the lives of my family, my friends, and my community. But I have seen this practice over the years for ambition, and I have never really given much merit to it, honestly. It's a vision board. And I know that we've probably all seen people on social media who do these, or maybe you've done them yourselves. And I just was always, I don't know, I just kind of thought it was kind of flippant. I never really gave it much merit. But when I was trying to figure out an activity to do with you girls to talk about ambition, I was like, well, we could do this, why not? So I started doing some research into vision boards, and there's a lot of research to back up why these are powerful tools. According to Psychology Today, mental practices like visualization, affirmations even, can increase your motivation, confidence, and even your motor performance. So that means that visualization practices for athletes can improve their performance. This is proven, can improve their performance almost as much as actual physical practice. Sitting there and visualizing themselves doing these things and doing them correctly can actually improve their performance almost as much as actual physical practice. Olympians use this, champion athletes use this, like Tiger Woods, Muhammad Ali was a big one. He was a big proponent of self-affirmations and visualizations. And so these are incredibly powerful tools that you can use. In fact, there was this one study I read about this man who was in prison in the USSR for, I want to say, several years, nearly 10 years. And while he was in prison, he decided to play mental chess in his head because he thought, what am I going to do to pass the time? He played mental chess in his head over and over and over again, with the goal of becoming a world champion. When he got out of prison, he actually went on to win the world championships in chess. It's really incredible, this tool that is available to us for free. So I finally have given some merit to the idea of doing a vision board, and I have made myself one up. In fact, I hope that you guys have some stuff with you so that we can start to work on a vision board that you can keep and use and edit and add to throughout the next couple weeks as you maybe prepare to take on 2021 or the next big challenge in your life. The idea behind a vision board is you don't want to make it too cluttered. You want to pick a few areas of your life that you want to focus on, and you want to make them very prominent. That's why you don't want it too cluttered, because you want to be able to see this and just take it all in at a glance without having to study it, because it's going to be something that you're not going to study every day, but you're going to put it somewhere where you see it every single day. You may even want to take a picture of it and put it as the home screen or the screensaver on your computer or your phone, so that it's something that you're looking at constantly and it reminds you of these goals. And you can repeat maybe the keywords that you put on there and just remind yourself every single day that this is what you're after. So I'll show you the one that I made, and I'm actually not finished with it because I think I still have some stuff I can add to it, mostly probably just some more words and stuff, but I'll show you the one that I've made. I have added on here a picture of an Emmy, because although I have an Emmy, several Emmys for our newscast, I would like one for myself, just with my name on it. again, that ambition. I don't know why. It just, it would be pretty cool to see that. I added on here some Bible verses that remind me that that is the center of all of my life. That's how I am able to do everything that I want to do and keep my focus where it needs to be. I've also always wanted to be an author or a writer. So I added in there some pictures of books, and I adore reading and I love writing. In fact, that's the thing that really drew me in and made me realize that, hey, journalism could be for me. I adore writing, and this is one really good avenue. Well, when I was little though, I wanted to write books, and I really haven't ever lost that desire. I just never really found a good way to channel it. So I am putting on here, I'm putting it out into the universe. I'm going to remind myself every day, this is one of the key goals that I have. I want to read more, and I would like to write some more. I put pictures of people that I really admire on there. Candace Cameron Bure is like one of my idols. I think she is just excels in so many areas of her life, and I love the joy that she lives her life with and that she brings to other people. Fitness is incredibly important to me, so I put that on there. And then family and hiking, getting out and doing stuff with my husband. I would like to hike Mount Whitney next year. So I put a picture of Mount Whitney on there and hiking. And I put several Bible verses on here that I can just repeat as my morning affirmations. So the first key to doing this is just to make some notes. So try and make some notes. What are the things that you really want to put on there that you want to focus on? Because I can't put everything. If I put too many things on there, you know, I've thought, oh, I want to learn how to play the piano. And I also would like to do this and this and this. Well, when you have too many things to focus on at once, you're not going to ever give your all to any of them. So take a second right now and jot down the things that you'd like to really focus on, that you could put on your vision board. Maybe for the next year. You know, I think a year at a time is a good block because we can measure that pretty easily and measure the steps, you know, in a few months, have we made any progress? So go ahead and make a few notes of what you'd like to put on a vision board. Even if you've already made one, like maybe you can update it. Maybe this is a great idea to add some things, take off some things that you realize that maybe my vision's changed, because our vision changes for our life all the time. So make a few notes. I'm going to make a few notes for myself just to make sure that my vision board is matching where I want to go here. So once you've made all of your notes down, the things that you'd really like to focus on, magazines are really useful to go and cut pictures out of. I just Googled stuff on the internet that would fit my visions, and I used clip art. I looked on Pinterest, and then I just printed them out and cut them out. I got a couple Bible verses. Here's the things that I wrote down. Award-winning journalist, devoted mom and wife, faithful, so reminding myself that my faith needs to be center of my life, and fit. And so what I'm probably going to do on my vision board later on is I'm going to add some more words that just really embody these. So I'm going to put like something like success here and confidence over by my friend Candace. And I like that I also have in here my faith and my Bible verses right in the center. That just reminds me that that's the center of all of that. And I added words to some of the pictures like family and hiking and writer. I put at the top here. So that's one of the ways you get started there, and then cut them out and just take some time. Don't try and rush about where you're going to put these, and don't feel like it has to be perfect either, because I can print these all out again. I can flip it over and I can do it again. And then, as I said, I think it's a really fun idea that I haven't done yet, but I'm going to take a picture of this. I'm going to put it as my screensaver on my home computer, my work computer, on my phone, or anything like that. I know that it's only a few of us, but does anyone, Bella, Paige, does anyone want to share any of the ideas that they want to put onto their vision board?
Yeah, I can share. So I just did 4 because like I didn't want to go crazy, but college is kind of just like next steps, read more of the Bible, so get into my faith a little bit more. Spreading kindness, I feel like that's something that's easily forgotten, and like positivity, and then self-care.
I love that. I love that. You know, and one of the things that I think is really important when you are being ambitious is to remember that self-care, because you really can't attack your goals if you are not feeling 100%. So sleep. Oh my gosh, I went so many years not realizing how important sleep is. And you girls are going into a part in your life where it is going to be harder than ever to get the amount of sleep that you need. And it's going to be tempting to cut it out because, you know, you can get you want to get everything in, the social aspects of college, and you want to get all, you know, the academic aspects conquered 100%, because I know that's who you ladies are. Sleep is so important. Please, please, please don't let that go, because I went years not feeling my best because I neglected that area of my life. And you will be able to do so much more if you prioritize that sleep, you know, 7 to 9 hours at night. You girls are at an age where you need even more than that physically. So just make a priority of sleep. And then fitness for me is something also that like is really important as far as my mental health and my physical health. And it really helps me to feel my best and do everything else. And if I don't fit that in, it's not that I can just cut it out, because that means it affects every other aspect of my life. So I just think that's really important. A couple other things. I know that we probably aren't going to sit here and cut out pictures and make our whole vision boards, because I want you to really take your time with that. So I told you to bring all that stuff, but just maybe spend a little time today or this weekend or later on this week and do that instead, where you can really focus on it and get into it. But a couple other things that I would just like to share that really help me with attacking my goals, and they're things that have taken me a long time to learn, are, you know, social media and how that can sabotage ambition and goals. And I think that you ladies are both at an advantage and disadvantage because of it, because you've grown up with it. It's probably not as sparkly and new as it really was when I was your age in college, and it was just becoming, you know, this huge focus of our lives. So I really had to go through that phase at a really crucial time in my life and figure it out, whereas it's something you have grown up with. But I just would say, I would caution you on how you consume social media. I think social media can be a great tool. It's something that I have to use for my work. So I'm not ever going to be someone who can delete my profiles or not use it at all, but I use it for work. I don't consume it the same way that I would use it for work. So I go on and I have to post and I have to use that. But when I consume social media, it's not something I do aimlessly. I don't try and scroll aimlessly or just get on without a purpose. If I'm getting on and I know I want to consume something on social media, my new rule for myself is it has to be for a reason. I need motivation to work out. I'm not feeling it. So I go on specifically to one person's page, the fitness instructor that I would like to find a new workout from. And it's so amazing that we have that channel of opportunity right at our fingertips. But if you just get on and like, oh, I'm feeling unmotivated and without any direction in it, you'll end up wasting who knows how much time and really zapping your energy. Whereas if I get on and I know I'm going to consume this person's page for a very specific reason right now, I want to see how she does this. I want to see how she makes her vision board. I want to see how she, what workouts or what new recipes she has. I go on for a specific reason. I don't consume aimlessly. And I highly recommend that you set time limits for your consumption of social media. And when you catch yourself scrolling, go, what is this adding to my day? Like, am I feeling better? Do I want to look back and go, I spent this much time scrolling, what does that add to my life? So consider that. I really am a huge proponent of lists and time blocking. To-do lists are fantastic, but I still need time blocking. Like I need a set amount of time, and I love doing that. And it makes me feel more productive. It takes that mental push to sit down and go, okay, I'm going to spend 10 minutes and I'm going to time block out the rest of my afternoon, because I have a lot of things on my to-do list. And I think if I walk around and I say, I'm going to do this one thing, I'm going to get distracted and start doing this other thing. And I'm going to get distracted and do this other thing. And I'm never going to get maybe everything 100% complete. If I time block it out though, and I say, I have 20 minutes to work on my interview questions for tomorrow morning's newsmaker, I will sit down and I do that. And in 20 minutes is up, I'm done. And I move on to the next thing. And if I haven't completed it, if I finish something else early, I can go back to it. But at least I know I spent 20 concentrated minutes doing that one thing. And it's just a really helpful tool. And it's something, if you can push yourself to do, I think it'll make a big difference, especially on those days when things really start to get a little overwhelming. Other than that, I don't really have much else to add, except, I just am so excited to see where you ladies take your ambition, because this is such an exciting time in your lives. And I remember being on the cusp of graduation in college. And I know that right now it's a little bit different and harder than it ever has been. So I'll be praying for you and just looking for the amazing things that this program is able to do through you girls, because you really are the future leaders of our community, and you inspire me every time I'm involved with this program. I am just inspired by your ambition and your passion. And yeah, so I'm very blessed to be a part of this program, and blessed that you guys spent a few minutes of your Saturday with me. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. If not, I'll let you get off with doing your vision boards.
Paige, Isabella, do you have any questions at all?
I'll just say you'll definitely be seeing my vision board in your DMs coming up.
Yay! I can't wait to see it. Thank you. And I'm going to share mine later. I'll take a better picture of it and share it on social media too.
Perfect.
I can't thank you enough, Maddie. I am a firm believer in vision boards, and actually we have them as our computer screens. And I will say,
oh, I love it.
Really does work. I'm a huge fan of it. And I just happened to hear that quote about juggling the balls not too long ago, and it like blew my mind, because I think it's something especially girls involved with Distinguished Young Women can relate to. We have all this ambition, you have all this ambition, but like, where does it go? What do you do with it? How do you juggle it? So I feel like when you have a clear vision and you know how to juggle and how to let things go and prioritize, that's like really how to harness that ambition and get you somewhere. So I cannot thank you enough. I feel like that was fantastic.
Thanks, Casey, and thank you to Bella and Paige for joining us. And yeah, I hope you guys all have a great Saturday.
Thank you so much, Maddie. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Bella. Thank you. All right. Happy Saturday. Bye, everybody.
Happy Saturday. Oh, Paige says thank you. Bye, guys. Thanks so much.
Bye.